So today we have a company introduction webinar.
It's Pacoa Echo.
Pacoa Echo. Pacoa Echo participates in X-Culture for the first time. I know something about the company from the email exchanges we had as we were preparing the company brief, but I don't know everything. So as curious as the students to learn more about the company history, about the founder, about the product, about the current business model. So maybe we can start with a short introduction and presentation by you of some of the basics. And then we do have a lot of emails from students with questions who could not attend because they have classes or work at this time. And then I'm sure there will be many more questions from the students currently in the audience. And we have people pretty much from everywhere, from Japan and Thailand to several in North Carolina, Oklahoma, Colombia, Brazil, and so on and so on. So we have quite an audience, small but very geographically dispersed. And then obviously most of the students will be watching the recording. So I'll turn the microphone to you and ask you to tell us a little bit more about the company to begin with.
Okay. Thank you, Vas. And my name is Germano, and Fabiana Bertoldi, she is the owner and the one that founded the company in 2022. So she takes care of the whole operation. She is the owner. Fabiana has studied in Brazil and in Europe. She does speak Portuguese, Spanish, and Italian. But I'm doing the translation and the conversation in English, right? So she has a formation in fashion, and she decided to work the company in order to basically to create a company that is sustainable. And this is not only a trend, this is something that Fabiana believes is the future, or is something that we have to build together in order to transform our environment, our society. The company is in Santa Catarina, which is a state in the southern part of Brazil. And it produces shoes manufactured basically by banana fibers. And it's all produced in around a radius of about 100 kilometers or 60 miles from Blumenau, which is where the company is based. So starting with the banana fibers, so it is produced, there is a banana production around 60 miles from Blumenau, and the fibers are extracted in this area. From that point, the fibers are sent to another city called San Francisco, where there is
San Francisco in Brazil, not the San Francisco in the United States, right?
Not San Francisco do Sul. San Francisco do Sul, right? So the southern San Francisco, right? Which is also close from Blumenau, is around 100 kilometers. And this is where the weaving is made from those fibers. So there is one point, the fleece, the cloth is made from 50% banana fibers and 50% cotton fibers. So it's virtually impossible to make and recycled cotton. So it's 100% banana fibers.
One quick question, if I may. So the logo, that's the banana leaf. It's not a feather, right? So because we had a discussion and we thought it's feather, we thought maybe the shoes are as light as a feather. But now I understand that's probably a banana leaf, right?
Correct. That's right. Basically, the company is, the production is made from banana fibers, and that's why there is a banana leaf in the... And Pacoa means banana in Tupi-Guarani, which is the language from the original indigenous in Brazil.
Okay. Well, I'm learning something new. So I didn't interpret it correctly. I thought it was a feather, and I didn't know that the word actually means banana in an indigenous language. Okay.
Right. Okay. And so banana fibers is made in a city about 100 kilometers. The weaving is made in another town called San Francisco do Sul, which is a harbor like in San Francisco in California. And the manufacturing is basically done by artisans here in the region also. So, but for all this supply chain, there is a possibility to increase the capacities. The capacity today, the production capacity is about 120 pairs per month. So it's an artisan capacity. But based on developments, this capacity is possible to increase the capacity. But always keeping in mind that the production is, even if it is increased, and this is what Fabiana is trying to do, this increase will not turn it into a manufacturing line. So this is not the idea. So the idea is keeping the manufacturing for the artisans and handmade. So and taking this input, I would say that the value of Pacoa Eco is basically following the sustainable development goals. And there are indeed 5 goals that are parts that are shared by Pacoa Eco, which is gender equality. And why gender equality? Because there are more women working in this process, in this supply chain, not 100%, but mostly. Decent work and economic growth, which is an opportunity, for instance, for the banana growers to develop an extra earning possibility, which is the manufacturing of fibers. It has to be said that this manufacturing of banana fibers is something pioneered by Eco. There is no other production here in the region. And Fabiana was responsible for going to the banana growers and explaining the proposal that she had and finding people that were interested in extracting the fibers from the banana tree. So the fibers are not from the fruit itself, but from the tree. So this was development done by Fabiana. So, and is linked then to this 8 sustainable development goal. Reduce inequalities because it brings opportunities of work for those people working in this area close to Blumenau. The 11th goal is also part of the proposal, sustainable cities and communities. People are able to earn money working with sustainable products. And finally, and which might be the most close to Pacoa Eco, is responsible consumption and production. So this is, in a short way, something about the company.
Okay, very good. So we have a lot of questions that I would like to start in. So one, what gave the idea to create a company like this? So when we think about shoes, banana fiber is not the first thing that comes to mind as a material. So, and the company, as I understand, is quite new. So how did you come about this idea for a company that makes shoes from such an unusual material?
Well, this is the formation of Fabiana. She has studied shoes manufacturing. So this was the main reason that she decided to bring these banana fibers to the shoes. And I understand your question of us. Why banana fibers? And why not any other kind of fibers?
I don't know, textiles, yes.
Calçado, e comecei a ver a necessidade de ter materiais sustentáveis para
worked for industries that were looking for new materials, new fibers for the shoe industry. And based on this experience that she had before, her conclusion is that banana fiber was not explored and was something that could be suitable to the shoe manufacturing.
Sebrae.
And she worked also with a project from Sebrae, which is a sort of governmental agency in Brazil that was sponsoring research in new raw materials, sustainable raw materials to the shoes industry. And also she is interested in, and again, connected to one of the sustainable development goals, into create work and economic growth for people. And so this is basically resuming. So this is basically part of the formation of Fabiana, but also something that she truly believes in, is sustainable manufacturing. And the beginning of the process of sustainability is in raw material. So it has to start in raw material.
And I'm looking at your Instagram, so I see it's not only shoes, I see some, it looks like bags, and then all kinds of other products also made out of the same fiber. So it's primarily shoes, as I understand, but not only shoes. Is that correct?
Yes, so não é só sapatos, tem
as bolsas também, os artesãos fazem com fio.
Correct. Shoes is, let's say, the main product, but Fabiana is offering other products also, like purses and everything that you see on the website.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about geography. So what are other products? So it's made in Brazil, 100% local production. How about the sales? Is it also sold locally, or do you already have a larger market, geographically speaking?
Not outside of Brazil. So the sales are done mostly via Instagram. And it's a very person-to-person sale. So people like to ask and see the product and ask for information and recommendations. So there is an e-commerce website, but most of the sales are done via Instagram. So it's a
É very slow, atendimento organizado.
it's a humanized way to work with clients. So it is not and will not always anytime be a large manufacturing operation.
Por enquanto, sir.
But of course, she is interested in expanding. So today.
And so we have actually quite a few questions about that expansion. So the company is 2 years old. You already mentioned that the company will be able to scale up production if there was a demand. Is that correct? So it's not a small niche production. You can, if needed, you can produce in large quantities.
Well, but in large quantities, let's say in the manufacturing line quantities, I wouldn't say this is the aim of the company. So today, the company is producing around 120 pairs per month, but it could be increased to 200 pairs per month if we are talking only about shoes. So today is a small scale, but it could be increased tenfold. Up to now, there are only 5 people working with Pacoa Eco, but again, the supply chain is already studied and developed by Fabiana, so it could be increased, not in a production line as we usually know in textiles.
Everything will come, so give it some time, so we will, yes. So at this time, you specialize in sales directly to consumers, I understand, right? So what would be the typical sort of profile of the person who buys these kinds of shoes? So how would you describe your customers?
Mostly women. I would say 100% women that are concerned about sustainable fashion. So this is a niche where people come to because they want to buy something that is sustainable.
Depois que eu falo do que ele é feito,
but some people, even if they are not concerned about sustainability, by seeing the product, they like the product and therefore they decide to buy it.
Oh, that's the actual shoe, right? Yeah. So okay.
That's the actual shoe, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are some other styles.
Let me go to the present. Yeah. Okay. These are very intricate. So are they handmade or machine made? I mean, this looks very intricate.
São feitos à mão ou à mão?
Tudo à mão.
Everything by hand. All artisans. They use, of course, sewing machines.
Sim.
They use sewing machines, but they are made by hand.
So it's definitely not your mass-produced from China type of shoe. So that's more for people who want something special.
Right. Correct.
Actually, that would make a very good gift too. So thoughtful and unique and unusual. So very good, very good. Do you have competition? I mean, would you consider your competition the regular shoemakers or other companies sort of dabbling in this same area, sustainability conscious type of production?
Right. In Brazil, there is one company that uses banana fibers in the composition of the cloth, but only 2%. And they make only clothes, not shoes. So and the fibers, apart from these 2% banana fibers, the cloth comes from China. It's not made in Brazil. So there is in Brazil no competition, direct competition. So there is no one producing shoes or in 50% banana and 50% cotton. And Fabiana says there is no one in the world that is doing that today in this high percentage of banana fibers. So again, the cloth is 50% cotton, recycled cotton, and 50% banana fibers. So there is no one producing in this large quantity of banana fibers, this share of 50%.
Yeah, that is very interesting. Yeah, definitely unique. Yes. Yes. How about So I noticed that the soles, the shoe soles, so those are more traditional, I assume, plastic or whatever they use, silicone for the soles. Do you buy them from, so how do you source those components?
Is made out of recycled rubber.
Rubber, uh-huh, okay.
Right.
Esse é cortiça que é de casca de árvore.
And the sole here
That's
is
the,
correct.
uh-huh, yeah.
Right. So recycled rubber,
Cotton.
cork. Is it?
Cotton.
This is cotton, 100%. 100% recycled cotton, and this is 50% banana fibers, 50% recycled cotton.
É totalmente materiais recicláveis.
It is 100% either recycled or banana fiber. Banana fiber is obviously not recycled, no? But everything else is recycled.
So there is a question.
And that,
Yes, go ahead. Oh, your microphone got muted.
that is either here. So there shouldn't be no excess or remaining material. So the idea of Pacoa is using either recycled or banana fiber.
So I just realized we have a lot of, I was going through the questions from the students by emails, but we have a lot of questions here. So Carolina is asking, is it possible for me to get a pair of these shoes to use in branding, marketing in my project? I'm located in the United States, but have family in Brazil if needed. So would you be able to ship a pair to the United States at this time?
Exportação.
Right, it is possible. Fabiano Pacoa Eco participated already in 2 times in a fair in Milano, in Italy, together with Sebrae.
Sim.
Together with Apex. Apex is the Brazilian agency fomenting export. So it is possible, Carolina.
Yes. There is a question from Jalika McClellan. So what is the cost to produce these shoes and handbags? And I guess another question asked by a few students, what is the price that you sell them at?
Right. The average sales price for the shoes is about $70.
Okay.
Pouco menos.
And then the cost, the manufacturing cost would be about 45% manufacturing cost.
Reasonable, yeah. And I assume the production cost will probably drop as the volume increases, right?
Well, that could be a tendency, right? As it is an artisan product. So it does not apply in this kind of product. This volume when producing large volumes, usually price and the cost reduce. Artisan products do not follow the same
True.
logic, but of course there would be a possibility of cost reduction, indeed.
Yeah, makes sense, yes. So there is a question from Vanessa. If I would like to know if your current capacity is fully sold out and what are the current target markets? So first, so you said you make about 120 pairs per month. Are those fully sold out at this time? And then where would you like to sell? So which markets are you most interested in expanding to?
Well, as it is an artisan product, so there is no stock available for immediate delivery. There is no stock available. So usually the shoes are manufactured once there is an order for them. So she could produce about 10 pairs in one day. But there is no, in this sense, the production is not fully booked because it is run according to the demand.
Well, hopefully with the sculptures help, the demand will increase so much that you'll need to hire more people. There is a question from Nikita. Where do you source the cotton from? So bananas are local cotton. Do you buy that from somewhere else?
Right. So this area here in Brazil, Blumenau, is a large textile cluster. So there are many companies here. And there is one company in Blumenau that produces yarns of 100% recycled cotton. So the 100% recycled cotton is bought here in town, in Blumenau. And the fibers from the banana is produced in Corupá, which is around 100 kilometers from here. So it's all sourced in the region here.
Yeah, yeah. I'm thinking if the sales picked up, for example, in the United States, it may actually not be a bad idea to have some sort of a warehouse in the United States and have some supply in place, maybe have some local representative who would then ship it from the United States, because shipping each pair separately from Brazil probably will be quite expensive. Jalika is asking, would you think about selling your shoes to boutiques? And I'm guessing boutiques would be probably a more appropriate channel than large shoe stores.
Yeah, sure. We do consider that, or Fabian does consider, but of course the boutique should have, let's say, a sustainable way of selling the products. So Fabiana's idea is that the product should be within an environment where most products, if not all of them, they are sustainable. In some resorts, Fabiana is dealing with a resort in the northeast part of Brazil, a resort in the beach, which could be an alternative also.
Yeah, yeah. There is a comment rather than a question from Abdullah. So soles are from recycled rubber and other parts are recycled or from banana. It's very appreciating. So, but then the capacity needs to increase to conquer foreign markets. And I guess that's very true. So one comment from me, but also I guess a question for you. So one of the tasks for X-Culture students is to explore the market. And so we ask them to maybe talk to potential customers, maybe even retailers about the shoes, get a better sense of what people think about buying and using these kinds of shoes, but also maybe talk to the local boutique owners to see if they would be interested in selling such a product. From my end, I would highly recommend trying to do it to get a better sense of what the consumers think about it, how they make the decisions, what the kind of price they might be interested in, and so on and so forth. But maybe there are some suggestions and advice from you to the students as they approach potential customers, retailers, distributors. What should they be focused on as they ask those questions, as they try to understand the market?
California. So, Alemanha, California.
So Fabiana says that in the US, California is known as a state that is very much concerned or more concerned than average, let's say, with sustainable fashion. In Europe, Germany, but especially in Berlin, and eventually some countries in Scandinavia, like Norway, Denmark, Sweden, Finland. So these are the markets where probably the chances to have success are higher. And one other point is that countries usually need a certificate, and this certificate of a sustainable product, usually there are many certifications, and it is common that Germany has one or two or three, then Switzerland has another one. So this is something that Fabiana is aware, and is probably a need that the Pacoa will have to develop along the expansion.
And I would say also for students to research, are there any import tariff certification requirements and things like that? So how difficult or easy it would be to import a product like that, either one pair at a time or maybe in larger quantities if the market picks up. Yes.
Right. There might be, I don't know if there is, but there might be, if there are import duties in different countries, there might be a reduction for import duties for sustainable products.
True. Yeah. So very true. There is one more time the question, I think we answered it, but just to be sure and fair to the student. So who buys the product at this time primarily? Personal users or companies or retailers or some other form?
Personal users. So the sales channel is Instagram. And let's say it's a very client by client sale. So the segment that buys the product usually wants to communicate with Fabiana, with the company, and see why the product is sustainable. So it's not sold in stores, in large stores. So that's not.
Marketplace de moda sustentável também de São Paulo.
In a marketplace for sustainable fashion in São Paulo is also one of the channels, but Instagram and the personalized sale is still number one, the channel most used.
No momento, né?
At the moment.
There is a question also from Julika. Have you tried selling on Etsy, or are you considering selling on Etsy? Etsy, that's also a platform like for craft and other types of products. Fabiana probably
Uh,
knows what Etsy is.
Etsy, que é uma plataforma de
Or maybe it's
produtos
an American thing.
How is the name?
So Etsy, sorry, not Etsy, Etsy. Have you?
I,
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's
No.
probably a marketplace that is not known. Yeah, no big deal. But Angelica, if you think that's a good marketplace for a product like this, maybe you can develop a strategy so that the company can try selling there. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So another question, are they talking to anyone who can bring their manufacturing costs down or other ideas? I'm not sure if that's the goal, but are you thinking about other ways to reduce the manufacturing cost?
É muito slow, né? Mas assim, com a industrialização do fio, sim, né? A gente já tem esse estudo de industrialização do fio. Mas com indústria manual, né?
One of the possibilities is industrializing the production of the yarn. So producing that in larger quantities might bring down the cost of the
So the
yarn.
material itself, right. Mhm.
Right, right. But it's not at this point, it's not the aim.
Estamos
So,
em 2 anos de pesquisa.
Fabiana is running this possibility or studying this possibility and making research for around 2 years. But it is a possibility, yes.
There is also a question from Nikita. Are there any tourist locations in your areas, cruise ship locations, etc.? And I'm guessing that maybe she's thinking about sort of combining tourism, ecotourism with buying products like yours. I'm guessing you're far away from the shore, so I don't think there are cruise ships coming to your location, right?
Not indeed, Vaz. This is a good question. So we are 60 kilometers, which is about 40 miles from the seashore.
That's
There
not too
are-
far. Okay, that's not too far.
No, and there is one harbor close to us here, one city, the closest city, which is around 40 miles, where cruise ships have started to land in the last 2 or 3 years. That's a good question. That's a good point. Right?
São uma cidade que eu vendo muito.
Now, there are many people moving to this city. Has one of the highest IDH in Brazil. And Fabiana sells products physically. So there are some fairs, and she goes to Florianopolis to sell the products. There are many foreigners living in Florianopolis. So Florianopolis is the capital, and it is an island. So it has a lot of beaches, and this is something that Fabiana is developing. But it was a good question regarding
Okay,
cruise.
maybe students could consider, yes, some sort of ecotourism type of deal. So yes. Abdullah is asking about employment. So you said you have 5 employees at this time. So how is it structured? Are they working full time? Are they employees, contractors? Will you be able to increase the number of employees if needed to rev up the production? So tell us more about your labor.
7 pessoas.
It could be increased, Abdullah. So depending on demand. So this structure is built up for producing the quantities that are being produced today. It is 120 pairs per month. But of course, both in terms of manpower as well as raw material, the possibility to increase is possible. So, and there is a formation for women in the area of the banana plantation, where women will be able to produce the fibers. So, and this is another point that adds to the possibility of increasing manufacturing.
One last question, if I may, more to Fabiana as an entrepreneur. So you've been running this company for 2 years. I'm not sure if you've had any other businesses before. What has been your largest challenge, and what advice would you give to the students who would like to start their own small companies?
Teu maior desafio, yes.
E conseguir esse propósito.
Okay. All right. So the first question. So the main challenge now is the commercial area.
Yeah.
So Fabiana has dedicated more than 2 years in building up the capacity to produce the banana fibers, the capacity to find weavers, the capacity to find artisans that can produce the shoes. So basically, she is set with the production structure. And again, this structure is small today, but it is possible to increase. But the challenge that Fabiana is facing is is the commercial to advertise or to bring the attention to people that are interested in sustainable fashion to the products that she is manufacturing.
I see.
And then the second part is what she would say to
Advice for
someone.
students who would like to start their own companies.
Okay, so this is basically in what Fabiana, so the idea or the advice for someone that is trying to start a business. In her case, this is part of her internal feeling. So she supports very much the sustainable manufacturing. She has studied that. She has made the formation. And therefore, this is something that she internally wanted so much to make that the textile production and shoes production would not generate so much pollution. So follow your internal dreams. This is what she did, both in terms of studies, education, work, and now with the company that she is leading.
Família.
And try to be surrounded by people that are also entrepreneurs. You will always have someone saying, well, it's not going to work. Why are you doing that? Why don't you look for the job in a larger company? So
Botar muito dinheiro.
you have to invest so much. So try to find out people that are entrepreneurs, and do not listen so much to people that want to say that you're not going to succeed. Try to get people that want to innovate and change the world.
Yeah, that's a good advice, yes. Well, let's stop here. So I'm sure there will be many more questions as the students start working on the challenge, in which case we will forward them to you by email. And I'm curious to see what students come up with. It's definitely a unique product, so virtually no competition in this specific niche. So I'm curious to see if students will be able to provide some good suggestions on how to grow this company and take it global. Thank you so much. Okay. So let's stop here. Thank you. And thank you, students, everyone who joined us live, everybody else who's watching the recording. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much for us.